talking about Battlefield 2016 again today because God knows there's nothing else going on in the Battlefield community right now. And we're going to be looking at a recent video game trend that I want to know your opinion on whether it would work well for the Battlefield franchise. So if you cast your mind back to a couple months ago when Black Ops 3 went on sale with its multiplayer for the very, very low price of £15. This is just the multiplayer. It came out with a multiplayer starter pack that you could purchase and get the first 55 levels of Black Ops 3 with all the weapons, all the maps, everything for just £15. That was it. That was the one single price of £15 and you got the entire multiplayer. Soon after that, H1Z1 split up from its single H1Z1 module and it split up into a separate Battle Royale game and a just survival game. Soon after that, Elite Dangerous came out with its dogfighting module for just £5. You could buy that separately from the main Elite Dangerous game. Shortly after that, Ark Survival Evolved came out with a free-to-play Battle Royale system game that doesn't quite fit the same trend, but you see where I'm coming from. It came out with a separate module to the main game and it split up the game into different sections that you could purchase separately. Because if you think about it, each game is sold with 1, 2 or 3 modules. It has one campaign, possibly, a second multiplayer module, possibly, and sometimes a third module with a zombies mode or a battle royale mode or something like that. Now the big question is, how do you value each of these modules? If you were to buy, say, Black Ops 3, how much would you value the multiplayer, the campaign, and the zombies? For some people, they only buy it for the zombies. For some people, they only buy it for the multiplayer, and very few people, I would say, actually buy it for the campaign, although there are a few that actually enjoy the Call of Duty campaigns. The original Black Ops and Modern Warfare ones were good, but now they're a bit there, but that's my opinion anyway. So let's take this and apply it to Battlefield. How much would you value the Battlefield multiplayer and how much would you value the Battlefield campaign? Well, if we look at Battlefield 4 in particular, because there are some Battlefield campaigns that were actually pretty good. I'm looking at you, Bad Company 2, but if we apply it to Battlefield 4 by itself, I would value the multiplayer at $55 and the single player at around about $5. I mean, the only reason I played the Battlefield 4 campaign was because I got some weapons for the multiplayer if I completed it. That was honestly the only reason why I played it. If you ask me any question about the Battlefield 4 campaign, I probably will not be able to answer it because I can't remember the main character's name, I can't remember why we were fighting, who we were fighting, I can't remember what the hell was going on, I just know that I got some weapons at the end of it and a ship blew up. That's honestly all I know, because it wasn't rememberable. However, if we go back and apply this to, say, Battlefield Bad Company 2, which is well known for having a pretty damn decent single-player campaign, I feel that the opinion would shift a little bit. I think that I would value the campaign much more than what I would do if we were looking at Battlefield 4. So let me pitch an idea to you. If Battlefield 5 were to be announced tomorrow, and it were to be announced with no campaign and just a multiplayer experience that was the same size as Battlefield 4. It had the full amount of maps, it had all the DLC maps included, all the DLC maps were free, it had all the DLC weapons included for free, everything. Basically take the size of Battlefield 4's multiplayer right now, put it in a Battlefield 5 as its own original game. Would you buy that? If it was all brand new and you'd never seen it before and it worked, would you buy that with no campaign? Personally, I would. I would go for it. I'd be all over it because the state that Battlefield 4's multiplayer is in, that's the reason why Battlefield 4 survives. That's the reason why Battlefield 4 is still as popular as it is. That's the only reason people are playing it. I don't think people are sitting at home looking at trailers of Battlefield 4 right now and thinking, I'm going to buy that game just so I can sit and play the single player. No, people are buying this game and playing it because of the multiplayer. That's the reason it exists. But let's now look at a game that has actually done this, Star Wars Battlefront. This was sold as a multiplayer-only experience. Well, it's got the missions, but it's primarily a multiplayer experience. There's no single-player campaign, it's solely multiplayer. And how was that game received? One of its biggest criticisms was that it didn't have enough content. It didn't have a single-player campaign for people to sink their teeth into after they'd had enough of multiplayer. It didn't have that extra bit of meat on its bones like all the other first-person shooters out there do. Now, part of the reason for this is because of the limited number of maps and weapons and all that other stuff and game modes. It doesn't have a very large multiplayer, which is why some people were arguing that it's not a very big game, it's not worth the $60, which is where it differs from Battlefield 4 if that were to be sold as a multiplayer-only game. If you cut the single player out of Battlefield 4, it's still a pretty damn big game. You've still got 40 maps for multiplayer, you've still got just about 100 weapons for multiplayer, you've still got a decent amount of game modes for multiplayer, so there's still a large amount of content, even if you cut out the single player. So using this information that I've just given you now, if you do me a favour, go to the description of this video and there will be a link to a straw poll where you'll be able to vote on your opinion on whether you think that a single player campaign in Battlefield 5 is warranted, whether you think it actually definitely needs to be there, or whether you could live without it, whether you could actually purchase a Battlefield game that was multiplayer only with no campaign. And if you have an opinion that is more developed than a simple yes or no answer, leave it in the comments down below and I'll be sure to reply to you. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Battlefield videos like this, and I shall catch you in the next one.